we go. Episode number 99 of Reclaiming Timeless Ways. I'm Simon Fuller. This is Mike Traster. That's Mike Traster. I'm Simon Fuller. And you are you. Thank you for being here. Mike, 99. What's the topic of discussion today?
Can shrinks, the paragons of insight and knowledge,
No
and
sarcasm in this.
Oh no, and subtlety and wisdom, can shrinks be fooled? First, I want to give you the long-winded answer. Absolutely. And then the second answer, often. And the third answer, severely.
Yeah.
And the fourth answer, yep.
Yeah, I know you've spent a lot of time in the medical field, Mike.
Yeah.
And I think that, from my perspective, that's a sector that is well underserved. But I also believe that there are plenty in that sector that don't belong there.
Oh my God!
And
it's
you know,
painful.
because what a need we have, what a service it is,
Right.
but what a disservice, and how harmful when they shouldn't be there. I mean, you did a show not long ago about, should a pastor be a pastor? Not everybody is called, and you talked about one of your friends who, how come you don't do marriage counseling? His answer was, that's not my gift. My gift is preaching. Okay, we all have gifts, and sometimes we fall or we decide we're going to go into a path that we just shouldn't be going down.
I was no damn good at working with Alzheimer's patients.
Right.
I mean, somebody that's entering into the first initial stages of dementia, fine. I could help them tremendously. I was
Right.
very good with them. The really severely impaired patient,
Right.
not my cup of tea.
And so you do a disservice by trying to serve that person.
Right. And I remember talking to somebody once, and they looked at me and they go, "Oh man, you tell some amazing stories. You must have been the most incredible nurse." And I said, "In some ways, I absolutely sucked."
Yeah.
And they were like, "How can that be?" I said, "You're only good at some things.
Right.
And then other things, you're terrible at."
Right.
You have to see both sides.
Right.
Like that's true for all of us, And they were like, just stunned. Just absolutely stunned, but it's true.
Yeah. Absolutely true.
And like you say, and it's so essentially important. If you don't know the people you're supposed to serve and the ones you're not,
Right.
you will do harm.
Right. Especially when you think of that profession, somebody in a setting receiving medicine for mental health, they're already fragile, potentially very impressionable,
Or dangerous.
potentially dangerous, maybe even to themselves, if not you.
I had a
One way or the
couple
other.
people make a honest to God 100% effort to hurt me or kill me.
Yeah.
And it didn't work out really well for them. And they were instantly trained to not behave like that, at least not to me.
Yeah.
But, if you step on a piece of glass barefoot, it hurts, and you wear shoes
Right.
or whatever. They learned
Right.
quickly. Did I enjoy providing the lesson? Yes and no,
Right.
depending on who they were and how horrible they were.
Right.
But we're not called to do all things like that pastor you reminded us of, who was not a marriage counselor, but
Right.
a brilliant, uniquely, wonderfully gifted treasure house of a teacher.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. I mean, you could hate church and sit down and drink this guy's teaching for 100 visits
Yeah.
and get nourished.
Right.
Your mind and your spirit and your heart. You learn something, you would say, wow, this is going to direct me and deepen me and help me to help someone else.
Sure.
And you're like, that wasn't expected.
Right.
There's a guy in his right place,
Right.
Just remarkable. So I had a friend who was a very advanced practitioner, looks at me one day and he goes, "You told me you didn't have a lot of money." I'm like, "That's true." He goes, "You're wearing a Rolex." And this is like the master of masters of observation. And I said, "You guys pride yourselves too much on your skills of observation." Gets real stiff in his neck, leans back, "What do you mean?" I said, "My Rolex is a $50 Casio." I said, "The issue isn't my Rolex, it's your pride." He's like, it's funny as hell. But, some people, for example, you might think somebody's angry, and they might have what some people call the RBF, resting bitch face, men or women.
Yeah,
right.
right.
Heavy eyebrows.
You can look at them and know right away what's inside.
Or you think you know.
Right, correct.
Right, like structurally.
Because I have been wrong before on that one.
Right, so you look happier than I look, just sitting quietly.
Sure.
Because of the shape of my face.
Okay.
And the countenance that my face takes on, you probably think your face is quieter than mine is when you're thinking. So you don't look angry,
Sure.
but I do. But I'm not angry. I'm thinking. I'm focused. I'm concentrating. My mind, like if you're looking at a point in space, your two eyes are focusing on a point.
Yeah.
Like if you're throwing a baseball
Sure.
or a slingshot or target shooting. When you're problem solving, you get like that. If you have heavy, dark features
Yeah.
and your geometry is such that you can appear to be angry and it has nothing to do with how you feel.
Right.
Zero. And I would go a step further and say this one thing is so universally misunderstood that it destroys relationships. It's amazing. It's amazing. You listen to people talk about people's acquired, facial posture, which they used to call it physiognomy. Or just their born facial structure, and we see things that aren't there.
Right.
Some people who are very intensely goal-oriented look angry, but they're inside. They're dealing with their own plans.
Sure.
They're very focused,
Yeah.
goal-oriented, and so they look different. So can shrinks be fooled? You betcha.
Yeah.
Big time. Big time. And so the thing is, you have to check your own perceptions. Get some validation. Say, has anybody ever told, so you talk to your client or your patient or whatever they are, and say, has anybody ever told you that you look angry when you aren't? "Oh, shit, man, yeah, that happens all the time. I hate that." Go, "Well, what's actually going on?" "I don't actually know. I'm just sitting there trying to figure something out." And they just know, and they're really animated now because you hit a note. And they're animated, and they're like, "Yeah, my mother used to do that," or his wife or girlfriend. And it's like, "Well, what were you mad at him?" "I wasn't." "But did you get mad?" "Well, after they told me for 10 times that I was angry, yeah, I started getting angry.
Right.
But I wasn't angry." So that doesn't mean that you're never angry. No, of course I'm angry sometimes. "Oh, but you might look angry just because you're concentrating?" Yeah. So if when you're the person doing the talking to somebody else, you're the quote expert or the guide. If you don't validate, question, and challenge your own perceptions, you're going to be making a mess,
Yeah.
right?
You're gonna make some mistakes.
Oh, big ones. And now maybe you're backing them into the corner more instead of helping them understand themselves. Like the person might say, "Yeah, I've got the resting bitch face," and makes now it's a mutual joke.
Right.
What have you done? You put water on the fuse.
Yeah.
Now it's no longer a place of reactivity.
Right.
Right? It's a source of amusement.
Sure.
Right? So, what was it? I think there was a guy named William Ardrey who wrote a book on faces, but there's a lot of people.
Sure.
Somebody else wrote a book called Never Get Fooled Again. It was a little hypey, but the guy was kind of an expert. Mary Ellen Demetrius, she wrote a book. I read it a long, long time, like well over a decade ago. She wrote a book called Reading People.
Okay.
Brilliant, practical, very down to earth. She was the wizard, now gone into fame and infamy both, who chose the jury for the O.J. Simpson trial.
Oh.
Reading people, so she could look at people and read them, and knew who was open, who was closed, who had already made up their mind.
Yeah.
She could see all that.
Yeah.
Amazing. Mary Ellen Demetrius. And what a great book.
Yeah.
Great book. Real wonderful. If you could get a hold of it for like a book on tape, just, books can be such sources of wealth,
Yeah.
Yeah. So when people manage other people, if they're misreading, it could be a nurse or a doctor or a shrink or a manager, and they're misreading people,
Yeah.
and they think somebody is resisting direction, but they're focused or they're confused, and they misread that. Nothing good comes of that.
Right.
So it's kind of, it's fascinating. I think in a world where we're flooded with this obsession with esteem, self-esteem, we get too concretized in our pride.
Sure.
So we self-congratulate. A little is great, but if we have an endless Macy's Day Parade with our strengths, we're going to miss a lot and make a major, major mess. So, I don't know if you have some examples that you're thinking of.
No, I'm just kind of taking that in. It was on topic, and we weaved around the topic a little bit, but it all still made sense to me.
Yeah.
It's how I would categorize that one.
And there's other people that look like they're very peaceful.
Yeah.
They're not.
So when Mike talks about me looking happier in silence, it's because he's focused, looking angry. I'm just nowhere in La La Land. So it's easy to be happy when you're just floating around. That's why, Mike, just so you know. And we can close on that humor. So he's got RBF. I've got floaty happy syndrome. I don't know what you want to categorize that as, right?
So
That's our
anyway,
humor.
the unintended consequence or gem that comes out of this is no matter what happens to us, we can laugh at ourselves.
That's right, and should be able to.
Oh, it's like
Have
like going to a water fountain and getting a good, clean, cool drink, you know?
Very good.
We should be our own best clown.
Yeah.
Okay.
And with that, we hope you'll come back soon, a couple weeks, for episode number 100.
Wow.
We might dress Mike up as a clown. Who knows? You'll have to come back and see.
Wait,
Have a great day.
You mean I don't have my clown suit on? Oh, shit. I left it home. Damn.
Have a great day.
All right.